you have to get the RSS content into that web page somehow. If you control the server, that's easy, because on your server you can say, go off, get RSS feed, and then shove it into HTML and put it on the web page. If all you control is just, if you don't have access to a server for doing stuff, you can just post web pages. You might want to be able to pull the RSS feed into the web page itself. The way you do that is you'd use something called XML HTTP request. But what that requires is that the source of the data you're pulling in sits on the same server as the page. So if I'm publishing an HTML page from port.ac.uk, I can't pull an RSS feed in from open.ac.uk, right? The browser won't let me. There are ways around it, though, and a way around it is to use something called JSON, which is a JavaScript representation of the feed. And you can just load that in like a piece of JavaScript into the page. And you can load that in from anywhere. One of the nice things that Yahoo Pipes does is it exposes the JSON version of an RSS feed. So I can use this as a proxy. I can use this to get RSS content from any server in the world onto my web page where I can play with it. Right? It's a hack. It gets around browser security policies. So the simplest feed is just use a fetch feed block. I paste in the URI of an RSS feed, wire it up to the output, and that's it. Okay, that's it. I can bring in multiple sources as well. So it's like a fan-in. I can, two ways. I can add additional URLs to the fetch feed block. So here I've got things from my SlideShare account, my Twitter account, my Delicious account. It's pulling all the RSS feeds in, aggregating them, and it will take them to the output. I'm also using a union block in this pipe, which shows how I could actually wire in different blocks. So here, this is the pipe before. This is the simplest pipe saved. I've just pulled it in to this pipe. I'm joining my feeds together. So I've built an aggregator, right? I've built an RSS aggregator with no coding. I've not done coding. I've just dragged and dropped. I possibly only dragged and dropped that block, and that pop gets created for me. Just type in the URLs. I don't even type them in. I paste them in, right? Because I've copied them from somewhere. And there is a block that will look up the RSS URL from a web page if it's publishing it in a particular way. So I'd only have to put in the HTML address and it would find the page for me. So that thing shows here, the union block. We can also merge content from various places. And we can also split. There's a block so we could split the stuff in the pipe. So we can actually build up quite complex programming. Okay, we can do complex programming without code. Another thing we can use the pipe for is finding out what's relevant. So we can just take a load of slop and we can filter it to leave our nice sort of bits of duck for our duck soup. So we've got a filter block. We accept a load of content from somewhere. Not all of it might be relevant. It might be whole, or it might be, I don't know, someone's RSS feed and they publish lots of things about their work, but also about their cat, right? And I'm not interested about stuff about their cat, so I might want to filter it out. So one way of doing that is using the Yahoo Pipes filter block. And in my the pipe previously, I could just cut a link between my aggregator here. I can wire in a filter block, and the filter block might say, just look at the title of the RSS posts that are coming through this feed. For each one, look at it, and if it contains a particular word, then either let it through or block it, right? So I could block out all the posts about cats. There's other things you can do once you speak URL.
If you block out everything with cats,
yeah.
If they've got category in the title, would that filter that out as well?
Cat space? Yeah, it depends whether it's a sort of free text search or just a word search. I'm not sure what it is in that, I suspect. I'm not sure. I don't think it's a free text one, so if it said category, I think it would let... I don't know, have to try. Have to try. Good point, Nash, you'll check that. So, if you speak URL, then you can start to do stuff. One of the blocks, if I'm fetching feeds in, to pass, what I have to pass to the fetch feed block is a URL type. I can either paste in a URL or I have to pass it in a URL type using a URL builder block. What I've got here is I've constructed one out of Google News. So if you go to Google News, news.google.com, and you run a search, somewhere down the bottom of the page you'll see a little orange RSS icon so you can get an RSS feed from that search. Okay, and if new content, if new hits arrive on that search term, they will appear in the RSS feed. I've pasted that into the URL builder, and it splits out all the various parameters for me in a nice way. And one of the parameters there is a parameter called Q, and Q is a parameter you see in a lot of search-based URLs. It's where you type the query terms usually. So what I can do is I can wire in a search term box. So on the front page of my Yahoo pipe, I can get a search term box. And I can construct the URL for Google News RSS around that search term, and then pull it into my feed. Okay? So I can construct, so given search terms, I can construct a Google News URL, grab, which is for the RSS feed, grab that, pull it into the pipes environment, and then I can play with it in the pipes environment or expose it elsewhere. Something else that happens when you use this search term box, this user entry dialog box, is, as well as providing something on the Yahoo Pipes front page, it also exposes this term in a URI for the pipe itself. So I can take the URI for the pipe, I can put in the search term, the pipe will then take that search term, use it to generate a Google News URI, grab the RSS feed and pull it through. Okay? So it helps you write these URIs that are programmable, and have just got an example of fetching multiple feeds, something I might do from an OPML file, say, and then filtering based on it. Could do it with things like Twitter as well. If you search for Twitter, if you do a search on Twitter using search.twitter.com, you will find an RSS output, so you can construct queries on searching Twitter, right? And I can put in a Twitter username and go off and build a search term for them. I could then take that Twitter search pipe. Here I've just got a pipe which takes a Twitter search for a particular person or a particular username, gets their tweets, which is contained in the Twitter content is contained in the title element. I copy that as a link element. I'd run a regular expression over it, which just looks through the title and says, is there a link there? And if there is a link there, it says, okay, I'm going to use that link. So what this allows me to do is extract links from that people have tweeted and the individual person has tweeted. I can then take that pipe, fetch tweeted links, and put it into another pipe which runs through all the lists of tweets that contain links and the links they point to, will fetch the page, gets the title element, and publishes the title element in the description feed. So what I've now got, I've got 3 pipes, all nested inside each other, which take a Twitter username, goes off and gets their feeds, has a look to see if there's a link in any of their tweets. If there is, write that as a link element, pass that to another pipe which says, okay, here I've got a link that someone's posted to. I can go off, fetch that page, get the title element of the page, and I will sort of represent that. So if Manish is following his Twitter feed and he's posting lots of links, I don't know what any of them are, this will go out, fetch the web page, get the title of the page and represent it to me. So I can say, oh, he's tweeted this page just by the title. Okay, you're looking confused.
I was just wondering what happens with the fact that Twitter turns them all into Bitly.
This should resolve through, yeah. If not, I've got another pipe somewhere which will dereference that to wherever it goes, and then. So you hack around it if you have to. You go as far as you can. If it doesn't work, then just put another bit of glue in, turn Bitly to proper URL block, which will exist somewhere. You can also do things like term extraction. So for each item in the feed, you can do term extraction, which is a simple content analysis tool. So an easy way of generating tags for content. So with these pipe blocks, you can just sort of cut and paste blocks together. And you can also cut and paste content. So things that you get out from the Yahoo Pipes environment, you get badges for my Yahoo, Google. So the RSS feed here, I can generate at one click a Google gadget for my Google homepage. Right, so I can just, if I find a pipe I want or create a pipe, I can just add the output of that pipe to my Google page. I don't have to write the widget, right? I just click the button. I'm logged into Google, I say, yes, add to my page. I don't have to write the widget. And we can also use the pipes, say, for generating map information. So we can build a simple postcode lookup thing. Paste in your postcode, look up the location of it using the location builder element, and shove the output out. Right, easy, geocoding made easy. This was particularly useful, I don't know, more than a month or so ago, because it was really hard to get latitude and longitude information from UK postcodes. It's now easier to do that, but a month ago this was sort of an easy hack around the fact that you weren't allowed to know where places were. And you can then take the KML output that is generated automatically for the pipe and use it in Google Maps or Google Earth. The only problem is when you build up these long chains, it's a bit like building towers of stones.